Hello, we're live. Our first live on Missing in America. So we have Candice from Dylan's Legacy, and we have Tammy, who is Jaydon's mother. And we're just going to talk about Jaydon's case. But before we do that, Candice and I want to talk a little bit about what we are going to do with the channel now that we've started it.
Yeah, so Jazz and I are super excited. Everybody's here to join us and hopefully help bring some of these people home. We want this to be a safe place. All of you guys have heard me scrutinize YouTube. I mean, we had such a bad experience, right? That was our experience. And so throughout meeting everybody, and thanks to a lot of help with Jazz, we have found that a lot can be good on YouTube. But some education and awareness of where to go that's safe is definitely something that we want to help people learn, and just get some more of these cases out there. So many of these young adults especially are just kind of lost in the shadows. Everybody deserves to be found, regardless of age or situation. And everybody looking for their loved ones, they need a safe place to go. They need somewhere that they know there's not going to be any scrutiny, no speculation. Help me out, Jazz. Speculation. Yeah. We just want people to know we're safe. We're going to do some awareness on different search and rescue teams, differences with canine teams. I'm so excited. Our forensic canine team that we've been working with so closely, and a lot of the funds from Dylan's Legacy is going to help equip them. They're going to help educate all of us. They have a lot to learn. We're going to do some education on the different drones and what they can do. Just kind of try to weed out some of the clutter that gets piled on top of you when a loved one goes missing and people say they can help, and they're really just kind of taking advantage of the situation you're in.
So more than anything, we want a safe place for families to come to. And we want a place where people can learn and they can look back through our videos. If we do a video, say on the dog teams, and they can look back and they can educate themselves and learn what a lot of people, when they had somebody go missing, didn't know. And so we just want to be a resource and a place just to help families all the way around.
Yep, absolutely. And we'll grow from there.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for everybody that has come and joined in for our very first live. And I guess I would just like to start out with just hearing from Tammy a little bit about Jaydon. I'm going to play some videos or not some videos, but put some pictures up of him. And if you could just tell us about him.
Okay. So Jaydon is funny and he's so compassionate towards people. Sorry.
It's okay.
He's amazing with his creativity, his creativityness. He loves poems and writing poems, and he's so articulate with his writing and his skills of just being able to look at a situation, whether it's a mom watching her kids swing and just create a whole poem or a song out of it, just off of the top of his head. Amazing with just planting gardens, just free-spirited, adventurous. I say kid, he's my kid, he's 28, but that's just, just a joy to people that are around him. And, he just loves life and just the adventures of life that it gives. So, yeah.
So I'm going to come up on a picture here in a second that I want you to tell me about.
That's our birthdays. We share a birthday. The one you just.
Oh yeah, the birthday one. Yeah.
Yep. Him and I, we've always February 12th, and so we celebrate our birthdays together, and that's always been just a special bond between him and I. And so we have lots of little pictures of our birthdays together.
That's very sweet. But I want to know about the banana.
So that's Jaydon's personality right there. He would, anything that he could run, he would take a banana, he would take a leaf, anything, a napkin. You know, many people have sent me pictures of poems that he would just be in public and take a napkin and just write something to them. And yeah, so that's his personality exactly right there.
I
That
think
banana.
it's great. I think it's
Yes.
great.
Just a very creative kid. I mean, his mind was so philosophical and just always thinking. Oh, yeah, those are yeah. Jaydon, he loved to work and with people, and he was always just helping, trying to create gardens, trying to work on projects. You know, he just loves to be a helping hand to people.
Yeah, so thank you for letting us get to know him.
Thank you.
So where do you want to start, Candice?
So just for everybody who's not familiar with Jaydon's case, and I'll have you jump in here second, Tammy. We're looking for some awareness to get some specific things, which we will go through tonight. Unfortunately, as we all know, law enforcement, when it comes to missing adults, it's very difficult. So Jaydon went missing in September, correct, Tammy? And so when he flew out of Las Vegas to Denver, after that, when is it you knew you had that feeling something was wrong? Because I want everybody to please realize these are adult children. So I don't like, it's hard on a mom when you say, what do you mean you didn't talk to your child for a week? Well, when you have a 28-year-old, there's a lot of times we don't talk to our children. So I really want to stress that point as we move forward with young missing adults, to not scrutinize the parents when they say they may not have talked to them for a little bit, because that is not uncommon. So with that being said, when did you know, Tammy, what struck you as something's going on and we need to figure out where Jaydon is?
So it started about a week and a half after he had travel plans to fly out. It was about a week and a half after that. I reached out to him, and he always is very good about responding to me. He will get back to me within either that same day or the next day. So he did not get back to me for, I mean, it was about 4 days when I was like, okay, Jaydon, he didn't get back to me. There's something not right. That's not like him. So I tried calling him, and then his phone was off. And then I tried texting him again, and still I waited a couple days. So it was probably about 2 weeks total after 28th. Basically, his travel was 27, 28. So 2 weeks after that is when I knew there was something wrong. And I told my son, Kobe, I said, you know what, we really need to start looking into this, because there's something wrong. I know this is not Jaydon. He never fails to respond to me. He always keeps in touch with me no matter what. So that's kind of around that time frame. And then that's when we started to just ask questions and start to get information about his flight from there.
Right. And so you contacted and made sure that he did make it to Denver with the airlines.
We did. That was a process. You know, we finally found out, it was through Frontier. We did find out that he did make it, but the first week that we were looking for him, we were led on a rabbit trail, because Frontier didn't change the manifest. They had told us that without a doubt, he got off his plane in San Francisco, because that was his ultimate destination. So they told us. So all of our search was concentrated in San Francisco because of what Frontier told us. It wasn't until I got a hold of a Lyft company. Finally, after going through, because I got his call records from his dad. His dad gave me a list of what had been used prior to the 28th and on the 28th. And so I had a list of call records. I saw, and I started calling these numbers. That's how I found out he used a lift. So we got a hold of the lift company. That's when they told us that from Denver on the 28th, they took him to the Econo Lodge.
Right. And that's when you knew he did not make it to California.
Yes, that's exactly when we knew. So for the first week of us searching for him, all of our search efforts were in San Francisco based on what the airlines told us.
Right.
Yes.
So then I know you found out, so you went to the Econo Lodge, and then you obtained some footage that physically showed him at the Econo Lodge, and that was the last physical sighting, correct? And so I'm gonna jump in here just because this and this isn't something we talked about that we were going to talk about, Tammy, but I want everybody to know. So once they found this out and the family did go to Aurora to look for him, which we will go through, this is where a team of, well, not a team, but a canine handler came in and tried to tell Tammy that this canine was tracking Jaydon and, well, alerting to where Jaydon was. After we walked through it, and this is part of the awareness in this case, is a prime example, because when Tammy and I spoke and I told her the dog handler kind of took him for a wild ride and none of it was true, it's devastating. And so I just want people to know that this happens in so many cases. And I know, like when I told you, Tammy, that this guy completely lied to you, just the deflation that takes out of a person, right? Because somebody's supposed to be helping you. And here you are in Colorado, desperately looking for your son and getting led on a wild goose chase by somebody who's supposed to be a professional that you trust.
Yeah. And that, I know that there's definitely, we've had different opinions from people on dog handlers and this, and in this time, whether or not, I don't believe that some of the stuff that was told me, I don't believe that we could go off of that.
Yeah, and we don't have to iterate on that. I just want to place out some examples as we go through some of these cases of looking for people.
Yeah, because we did have the fire department come out.
Yeah, and they dove, right?
They did some searches based off of this, what the alert came from these dogs too.
Right.
In this pond across from the hotel.
Yeah. So how long did you guys spend in Aurora?
We were in the whole Denver area for 5 days, putting up flyers, going to homeless shelters, going to police, trying to go to police stations. I mean, we went to quite a few around the areas, going to downtown Denver, the bus depots, everywhere we could think of, we were putting posters and talking to people and just trying to figure out his last steps of where he would have went, walking, did he get on a bus? We, just trying to, it's like finding a needle in a haystack when you're trying to retrace somebody's steps when you have no clues.
So tell everybody what your experience was when you tried to report Jaydon missing in Aurora.
So that was disappointing because, we went into the police department and just to ask to talk to anybody, to talk to a sergeant or just a police officer, just someone, just to kind of figure out what we could do, because at this point he did have a missing persons flyer here in Las Vegas, but that was not his last known area. Aurora was the last known area, so we wanted to see if we could get their help. So I went in. I asked, they said, no, you can't talk to anybody. It was a couple desk girls at the front. I said, can I leave my flyer with you? My son's flyer. And the girl basically gave me a look like, well, you can, but it'll be a waste of time. I asked her, so if I leave it, are you just going to throw it away? And she kind of shrugged and I said, never mind. And so that was very disappointing to get that response. I tried to call Aurora to get them be part of this case, and there has been no callbacks and no response. And I've been told that they just won't take him as a missing case.
So you guys spend your time, you're 3 weeks into this now, completely distraught. I, totally understand that. So something interesting happens when you guys show back up in Las Vegas that leads you guys to go to California.
Yes, we drive home from Denver, get home, and 10:30 at night, I decide to call Jaydon's phone. And up until this point, his phone had been off. And so I decide to try to call his phone. His phone starts ringing. So I called the detective. I said, his phone is ringing. And they did an emergency ping on his phone. And we found out that it was pinging in the Oakland area. So my husband and I got in the car after that night, and we drove all the way to Oakland to where we could try to see if, at this point, we thought it was Jaydon, because that's all we had. And so we are chasing, we're chasing these pings, trying to see if we could just see our son walking anywhere. And so we spent all day in Oakland chasing these pings, with coming up with nothing.
So we're going to familiarize everybody with how this was obtained. So there is a law called the Kelsey-Smith Act that was put in 2021. And this act is to get an emergency 24-hour data access to a phone for an endangered adult. So at this point, when the detective went ahead and filed this order, so it's way easier than getting a warrant to get full access. So it's just a 24-hour time period. So in this time, they're telling Tammy that, hey, the phone's in Oakland, and she's kind of following the pings and going through everywhere. So this act is only for an endangered person. So Las Vegas Metro filed this as an endangered person to be able to obtain this. And then once the 24 hours was up, we don't know if they consider him no longer endangered. This is a part that we're working towards, that we don't understand. Why was he endangered then, right, Tammy? And then all of a sudden he's not. He was considered endangered at that point to put this act in place. And then phones in Oakland, Tammy and Tim head out and then don't find him, and he's no longer endangered to obtain the rest of the data off of the phone.
Yes. So we've been asking for that data, that from the time that phone was off. So Jaydon's phone, it was kind of an interesting. So his phone was on the 28th. And the last phone call he used and the last text he made was on the 28th. But his phone stayed on until the 30th. And then I'm assuming it died. But there was no phone calls made or texts made after the 28th. And so I've been wanting to find out what that phone did. What did it do from the 28th, the 29th, the 30th, all the way? How did it get to Oakland?
Yes, that is absolutely.
And so I've been asking for this, and that doesn't seem to be something that we're getting cooperation on, because to me, there's a lot of red flags that are in his case. When he checked into the Econo Lodge, we have the surveillance of him checking in and checking out. Upon checking out, Jaydon walks out the door. We see that. And 5 seconds later, after Jaydon walks out of the Econo Lodge, there's a gentleman that looks, he follows very quickly after Jaydon. And is he going after Jaydon? I don't know. But I've asked, can we please just question this guy? Did he talk to Jaydon? Does he know Jaydon? Did Jaydon say, hey, I'm going to go here? Or did they have plans? There's just some suspicious things that I would like to have checked out. So I've been asking about that element also. So did I don't know if I answered the question or I went off tangent, but.
You did. Okay, so you and Tim go spend your time in Oakland, and not in a good place in Oakland, right? Like, you guys are putting yourself in danger trying to find your son, which, any parent would do. and then it takes a little bigger twist when you guys get back. If you want to elaborate on what conspired there.
So we leave Oakland, and I was devastated. Because the area that we were in Oakland, I can't imagine Jaydon wanting to spend time in this area, because it was just a very unsettling thing to see what we saw in that area. So we get home. We ended up spending a whole day in Oakland. The next day we drive home. 2 days after that, maybe not the next day, but the day after, 2 days after that, all of a sudden, they answer Jaydon's call, or answer Jaydon's phone. I call, and they pick up, and it's just a whole bunch of background noise. And I realize, okay, this is not Jaydon. I can hear the background. I can hear them talking. You know, Jaydon's a very, he loves the outdoors. He loves nature. He doesn't like loud, he doesn't even like TV. He doesn't like loud environments like that. He's just a very peaceful, calm kind of spirit person. And so the noise in the background, I knew that cannot be. Well, then a few days after that, they kept answering, and then they would answer our phone calls, and then they would talk, and they would pretend like they were a kid voice, and then they would just have different voices.
So sing it and
so
we all have.
So therefore, they would just have different voices, and then they started telling us that they knew all about us. They were going on his Facebook. They were threatening our family, physically threatening my son. They were telling us that they basically knew everything about us. And then it comes to find out that a couple weeks later, these people start using Jaydon's phone to actually start asking for people for money, using Cash App, and playing that they are Jaydon. They're saying they are Jaydon. So, but anyways, that's kind of that whole phone situation.
So as you kept getting this stuff, so obviously, the phone isn't Jaydon. So what does that lead you to think? I mean, as we've discussed, and this is why we need more awareness in this case, is one of the big questions is, how did that phone get from Aurora, Colorado to Oakland, California? Why was it turned off for that many days? Why did these people have this phone? Why are they taunting the family? None of this adds up to what they are now calling Jaydon, which is an adult runaway. Adults who have plans to just want to go away don't book plane tickets. They don't have travel plans. They just walk away. And does it happen? Absolutely, it does happen. But you don't make plans. And one thing we kind of skipped over is when Jaydon did not get on, well, he did get on the second plane from Denver to go to San Francisco, and he was having some distress, and some people sent the videos to Tammy that he had sent them to. So we know there was some distress of what kind. We can't say we weren't there. We don't 100% know. We have the videos, but Jaydon's plan was to execute his travel plans. And then when it didn't work out and he was removed from the plane, that's what landed him in the Econo Lodge. An adult runaway doesn't get on a plane with an intention to go somewhere. Something in between getting that phone from Aurora to Oakland, we really feel holds some answers. Phone data is amazing. Did the phone go by bus? That would be so easy to tell from the phone data. Was it in a car? Tammy and I have discussed the possibility, was it shipped? It wouldn't make sense, but we're leaving open to everything. The one thing that Tammy has done great on is with her research with the airlines and talking to them, he didn't have any other flights, right, Tammy? That was one thing that security told you, is no flights, just as one into San Francisco. And he had a date to be home by. These were Jaydon's plans. He told the family when he would be home by. That's not a person, an adult runaway, which I don't even know how that is a thing. But that's how they're treating this case. And that's why we're publicly out here trying to get some awareness get Jayden's name out there and help this family hopefully get this data to fill in some of these gaps, because right now that's truly what we need, is the gaps to start getting filled in.
Yes. Yeah. You know what? And that's, as far as the video, that ties in too, because the videos that I have, that was the very last person that Jayden texted. And that was the very last thing that, based on, because we do have the call logs based on his cell phone plan. We don't have anything else about the phone except for the cell phone plan and the numbers. And I can see what who he texted last. And that was the very last text that Jayden did. And it was confirmed by the person who sent me these videos that those were the very last things that he sent were these videos of him in some sort of distress. But like Candice said, he had a plan. He was going to be home October 25th. That was when he was supposed to be home. And he also had a specific place and a person he wanted to see. That was his whole point of traveling to the Bay Area. And he was never going to be in Oakland. Oakland was never mentioned. The area that he was going to be flying into San Francisco, and then the area he wanted, his ultimate destination was about 25 miles away from Oakland. So, just trying to figure out what link is there to this phone. There is a link. We know that the phone was either lost or it was stolen.
Correct.
That's it. He did not, there's no way, I've had these, I've had many people tell me that Jayden probably just sold his phone. No, that was his lifeline. Jayden didn't care about a lot of materialistic things. And that's how he was very intentional about staying in touch with us. And that was very important to him. So,
and let's be realistic. So let's think of all of our young adults. So let's say he decided to sell his phone. Let's say my daughter decided to sell her phone. They're going to delete their stuff. They're not going to sell their phone and leave their Facebook open and all their contacts and all their texts, right? Like that's not even a realistic thing. I mean, young adults and more than anything, because their whole world's on their phone. They're not going to sell their phone and leave everything on it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, there's just some stuff like that and people are always going to ask, and law enforcement's going to ask, but I mean, realistically, it's just not in the cards. It's just not something a person would do.
Exactly. So there are so many things from our perspective that are not adding up. I know my son. I know that this is not characteristic. This is not something that Jayden would just go off and want to be disappearing from his family. That was never in his plan. He never talked about that. And like you said, Candice, he had a plan. A plan. And so there's too many things that have been suspicious in this case that it's not adding up.
No. And so, as we've went through this many nights now, you've been in to talk with Las Vegas Metro. You've met with a few of them. You've had phone conversations. They did come do a buckle swab from Tammy to get into NamUs, so that's good. But what feeling are you getting? I mean, obviously they're calling him a runaway and they're not investigating. What is the feeling you're getting from law enforcement on how they're going to move forward, or if they're going to move forward on anything?
Well, I was told basically they're not. They really want to have Aurora take this case, which I do agree that Aurora needs to take responsibility, because that is where Jayden was last seen. So, but Aurora will do not. Will have nothing to do with it. So We're kind of stuck in a situation where Oakland won't be a part of it. Aurora won't be a part of it, and now Metro has come to the place where they've done what they can do in their situation as far as trying to get Aurora part of it. So no, I don't. I've been told that it's not a priority, and he is just considered a runaway, and that there's basically not going to be a lot of resources that are put towards his case.
So we're going to recap a little bit. One of our goals on this YouTube is to not keep everybody long. Jazz, what email do you want to use if people have questions? Do you have that up anywhere? Or in the
I
chat?
can put it up. I'm trying to think. We can either use Jaydon's email or we can use mine. Why don't we just use mine?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's best. So I just want to recap. So the other thing that I want everybody to know that Tammy was told is the detective handling it has 49 cases and Jaydon is not a priority. Now, I want everybody who's a parent out there to think about this. I don't care the situation. I don't care the age of your kid. I don't care circumstances, mental health issues, drug issues, whatever it might be. Your child is always a priority. And to be told that from law enforcement is an absolute shame. Our biggest push right now that we need to do for Jaydon's case is, first of all, we got to get somebody to take it on. We got to get somebody to take this family serious and take Jaydon's case serious, because he's not a runaway adult. And it is a simple step we are asking for. We are asking for the warrant to obtain the phone data so that we can figure out how that phone got from Aurora to Oakland. The other thing that the phone data will do is it will tell us when he left the Econo Lodge, with the way the data can be analyzed, where he went afterwards. It is so important that we get this. The only way to get it is with a warrant. And so we're bringing the awareness tonight. And from there, we may have to publicly ask. And I know there's a lot of followers from Dylan's case that'll watch this when we publicly ask people to send in letters. Jazz wrote awesome example letters to try to get somebody to take stuff serious. And that may be the next step that we have to do for Jaydon, to fill in these blanks to get them to take it serious. And that's why we wanted to get the awareness out. And this isn't an adult runaway, and something is not right. This is not adding up.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I've been, with everything that I have, it is not adding up. You know, with the surveillance video of the guy following him after, I need somebody to question him. There's just things that, as a mom, I'm not going to stop, you know, and I told law enforcement this. Sorry. I'm not going to stop, you know. They have a job, and I understand that, but he's my kid, and I'm not going to stop until certain things are closed. And I know that that guy had nothing to do with anything, and he doesn't know Jaydon, and B, the phone has nothing to do with him. But there's red flags everywhere, and until I start getting help, I'm just not going to stop. I'm never going to stop, because people need to know what when you have a loved one that goes missing. I was so blown away with the lack of effort, especially when they're adults. I am so sick of hearing that word. Oh, he's an adult. Oh, he's an adult. Okay, he is an adult, but you know what? He's still missing, and he still needs help, and there's still things that are not adding up in this case to a runaway adult. He's not a runaway adult. He's missing.
No,
Something
absolutely.
is wrong.
Yeah. So we will, Jazz will get up an email for anybody that has questions. We're definitely going to revisit this case. Tammy and I are going to continue working in the background with Jazz. We will probably, what did we decide, Tammy, within the next 7 days, if they don't come back with anything, since they told you they were going to try to get the phone data, but you've been told this, since October?
Yes.
So we're going to give them a little bit, since you talked to this last guy at Metro, And if nothing happens, we will make a public push to press on Aurora, Las Vegas, even Oakland, anybody that'll listen. There's cases that I've talked to people on where they've been reported missing 15 states away from where they were last seen because one state finally listened. One state that person crossed through finally listened. So it's not going to hurt for us to lean on all of them. And I mean, it's like Jazz and I have said since we got to know each other 19 months ago. Numbers make a difference. There is power in numbers, and if we all start, and we don't want to bash law enforcement. We're not tell them they're being horrible. Nothing. We want to bring the awareness that something is going on that's not right in this case, and there's power in numbers.
And and that is you saying that's exactly true, because eventually someone out there knows something. Period. You know what? Someone saw something, someone knows something. So the more people who see his face, the more exposure he gets, someone's going to come forward with something. And that's what we need. Because right now we keep coming into dead ends, and we keep being told that just forget about the phone, just forget about these things. Well, I'm not going to forget about them. And I'm going to continue to do what I need to do to research, to figure out, what it takes to find him, period.
Yep, I agree. Okay, well, I think with that, we'll wrap it up. And like we said, we're going to try to stay. Yeah, I'm going to wrap.
I do want to show that video before we go.
Oh, yes, I love that. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Right and true. We all have a picture, so paint it and vivid. We all have a life, so feel blessed and live it the way this life is intended for you. Only God can see our heart. We can only see each other's art.
And that sums him up perfectly. He's very artistic and there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so thank you everybody for coming.
Yes, thank you. And we will keep updates rolling on the pages. And the three of us, we're gonna see what we need to do, and if we need to come on and publicly ask for help, we will do that. We'll do whatever we can.
I just want to tell everybody who has reached out and they're sharing and they're, just continuous willingness to help us and doing everything they can to bring Jaydon home also. It is so appreciated by me that I just can't even tell you how much that people have reached out to help. And you know what, when you're in a situation like this, you really see how many people truly do love, him and just want to help. So thank you.
Okay, have a good night, ladies, and thank you everybody for tuning in. We will be seeing you soon.
Thank
All right,
you.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. I don't know how to
All right.